all the other players told on each other too. So
yeah.
it's not like Mike is by himself in that regard.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I feel like after that, everything kind of blew up. I feel like after the whole, like you mentioned, the whole John Boy video, like the potential buzzer scheme that's up in the air, they kind of determined that there was no evidence to confirm that. But do you feel as, like, let's say theoretically that is true, the whole buzzer scheme is true with Altuve and Bregman, they're wearing wires underneath their jerseys, and all the footage kind of makes him look bad. I mean, considering that they're already cheaters to begin with, it makes him look bad. Like, by definition, you can't really say, or like give them the benefit of the doubt here, saying, no, like that's not true. That's just hearsay. Like the footage kind of makes it seem like it could potentially be true. If it's true, what would your take be on a potential ban for Jose Altuve and company for the players?
Here's my take on that is that the commissioner wants to move forward. The damage has been done in that sense, and I think he wants to try to clean up the game. And I think there's potentially a new policy that might be coming down that expands the penalties and maybe more specifically defines what is cheating and what is not. I definitely could see that happening. If you notice that MLB was very quick to shut that down.
Oh, yeah.
Right or wrong, but I think it's probably a good thing because if Altuve and Bregman and those guys were using devices, is it worse than banging on a trash can? I don't know, because for me, you have to look at it from a very practical standpoint in the sense of, was there an added benefit? Well, the problem is that the reason why they were so, if you look at the history of it, every team gets access to a center field camera. I mean, this is the camera that we watch from television on the broadcast.
Yeah.
It's the camera that's over the pitcher's shoulder looking into the catcher. The difference is the Astros went in and said, we want a live feed of that. And then they installed a camera to watch the live feed. And then, now normally you're thinking, well, why did they use such a primitive, you have all that technology and then you use a primitive thing of banging on a trash can. The problem is, the sort of the absence of 5G technology, right? Like, it's almost impossible. It's easier to bang on a trash can to relay a message than it is, or to yell at somebody or whistle, than it is to like get into a computer and press a button and send that message to the player and then do it right in time so it shocks the player before he's hitting. And of course, the other problem with that is anybody who's a baseball player from a hitting standpoint, the more I think about it, if I'm in the box, the last thing I want to do is something shocking me right before the pitcher.
Yeah.
So whether or not I think baseball would be better by giving the discipline like they did to the managers or whatever and moving on from this. I don't think anything's going to change, unless some smoking gun, pardon the sort of cheesy reference, but unless there's a smoking gun out there that's like, hey, or sort of some sort of admittance that they cheated and they used, technology. I think everybody's on high alert right now. I think this is going to be one of those things that either we'll hear about it down the road or it'll be just one of those baseball stories that's like, okay, this is what happened, but this is what really happened. And, kind of like the Black Sox scandal or the steroid era or all the cheating that you've heard about over the years. I mean, was it the Dodgers and the Giants and the famous playoff game when Bobby Thompson, supposedly they were stealing signs? I mean, who knows? I think the bigger issue to keep our eyes on is how this Red Sox thing plays out. Because that, to me, the key player in all of this has been Alex Cora.
Oh, yeah.
And you look at that, and of course, which is hilarious because he was on the Dodgers for 10 years. And you talk about like lack of loyalty, It's like, oh man. But anyway, I think the fallout of that investigation and what happens with that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the discipline there was, depending on what the investigation shows, if it was not equal or worse.